And all clear at Corry Station tonight, but not before some chaos. It was just after 10 this morning, the Escambia Sheriff's Office receiving reports of shots fired on the base. Within minutes, law enforcement agencies swarmed that base. Beyond the Sheriff's Office, Pensacola Police, Florida Highway Patrol, Florida Fish and Wildlife, and Navy Police were all on scene. It was after sweeping the area multiple times, Escambia County Sheriff Chip Simmons told us there was no sign of an active shooter. Now we have team coverage tonight. Both Corry Harmon and Brent Carney are at Corry Station. Haley Samples spoke with our emergency managers about the medical response today. And we start with Corry Harmon. She was the first person on the scene this morning.
Yeah, Sue, and it was a very tense situation. Thankfully, though, law enforcement says no one was hurt.
Unconfirmed active shooter at NAS Corry. Gonna have y'all stage at the gate at Chief's Way.
A call that sent law enforcement swarming to Corry Station. It was around 10:15. The Escambia County Sheriff's Office says calls came in reporting shots fired on the base.
Caller reported hearing three gunshots in a building here in Corry Station.
The Escambia County Sheriff's Office sent all available units to the base. Pensacola Police, Florida Highway Patrol, Florida Department of Law Enforcement, as well as Navy Police responded. PPD outside of the base gate, stopping and redirecting traffic off of Chief's Way. Naval Air Station Pensacola closing all gates to Corry Station, locking down the base.
An abundance of caution, we want to make sure that we clear the entire building, closets, hallways, everything.
After a sweep of the building, law enforcement finding good news.
Show no signs of an active shooter. We have 0 injuries, but we are double checking.
After the additional checks, NAS Pensacola posting on Facebook around 1:30, giving the all clear. Sheriff Simmons saying out of an abundance of caution, his office treated this scenario as if it was the real thing. The swift response from all agencies proves it. And the sheriff telling us this afternoon that he does not believe that this is the result of a swatting call. I'm live tonight in Escambia County. Corry Harmon, WEAR News.
And as you can imagine, all of that frenzied activity shook the community today. It also had many thinking back to 2019 and the attack at Naval Air Station Pensacola. WEAR's Brent Carney is there at Corry Station tonight. And Brent, you spoke with the former commanding officer of NAS Pensacola.
Yes, so Tim Kinsella was the commanding officer of NAS Pensacola during that December 6th, 2019 terrorist attack. And he said as soon as he heard the news about what was happening at Corry Station this morning, it gave him flashbacks from that day.
Law enforcement wasted no time getting to Corry Station minutes after the call came in about a possible shooting. Law enforcement from all across the county, emergency responders, and even air units responded to the scene. After several searches, there were no signs of an active shooter and no evidence of a single shot being fired. But the response shook the local community.
For the last half hour or more, I've probably seen more cops than I've ever seen in Pensacola.
Scary.
Yeah, it seems like. This is rough here. They're still coming.
Before becoming the city manager for Pensacola, Tim Kinsella was the commanding officer of Naval Air Station Pensacola. He led the base during the terrorist attack in December of 2019.
Shock, horror. I immediately went back to that morning of December 6th. My thoughts went out to the skipper, to Mama Son, and what she was going through. I know exactly what was going through her mind in that time.
And yeah, just a lot of emotions from Tim Kinsella and the rest of the Navy community, and especially those in the neighborhood who are watching all of those deputies come in. But there was just a big sigh of relief when that news was relayed to the neighbors in this area that there was nobody hurt. It was just, again, a big sigh of relief. Live at Corry Station, Brent Carney, WEAR News.
And law enforcement not the only agencies responding today. First responders also called to the base. Escambia County Fire Rescue EMS units quickly responding, setting up a staging unit. WEAR's Haley Samples is at the Public Safety Office. And Haley, those crews now assessing their response.
Public Safety Director Eric Gilmore tells me it's hard to be 100% prepared for situations like these, but he says he's proud of today's emergency response. He says the agency deployed 2 fire engines, 7 ambulances, and a helicopter. Gilmore says chiefs for those departments were also on scene. He says it's typically more difficult to get onto a military base because of the heightened checkpoints and protocols, but they did not encounter any issues today. Gilmore says today's response was night and day compared to the 2019 shooting at Naval Air Station Pensacola, saying this time around he felt there was better communication and integration among emergency units.
We've talked about this, we've trained enough, we've re-looked at our policies and everything. Today was night and day. When our units got on scene at the base, the command post was established by Navy Fire. Our EMS chief, our fire chief, and our emergency manager went right to the command post, embedded with those guys, and listed what resources we had, so in case we had something going on. It was great, just a great integration of emergency services today.
Gilmore tells me that emergency staff in Santa Rosa County were also on standby to assist. Now, crews also coordinated with our area hospitals in case patients needed to be transferred for treatment. Now, Gilmore tells me that the agency will have a debrief to discuss today's response and any improvements that could be made for future calls. Now, he tells me he expects that meeting could happen by the end of next week. Live in Escambia County, I'm Haley Samples, WEAR News.
During today's incident, Naval Air Station Pensacola also went on lockdown. The main gate and west gate were closed. Just after noon, the gates reopened to Department of Defense ID card holders. Now, the lockdown was lifted just before 1:30 this afternoon. Normal operations, including public access to the base, will resume tomorrow morning.